Hello, my name is Michael Young and welcome to the 8th in our series of positive thinking courses. Today, I want to talk about the power of love and why it is so elusive for many and how you can start to improve your relationships with others, particularly if you are recently or long-term divorced, bereaved, or have broken up with a partner, and how you can start to be less lonely and isolated. True love is and always will be the most powerful form of positive thinking. It supersedes everything else because when it is embraced with sincerity and total acceptance, it is real, untainted and pure, and represents the greatest of all emotions and commitments that any human being can make. Nothing in the entire universe is stronger than the power of love, or sadly more misunderstood. Love in its many forms is what keeps us together as people. Love for each other, love for our children, and love for someone really special. Emotions that can create intense joy and pain, all at the same time. That said, I'm very aware that many of the people taking this course would have experienced a failed relationship. I'm not talking here about first loves. Nearly all of us have had one of these, and most can look back on the experience with a range of mixed emotions. It's far more in depth than that. It is the reason why this course is aimed at those who are divorced or who have suffered a bereavement or broken up with a long-term partner, and those that simply cannot find love for whatever reason. It is aimed at those who feel alone and unwanted and no longer feel confident to do anything about it. And between us, we're about to change all that. So let's see what we can do to set things right. But before we do, please check that you have your purple wristband to remind you to stay positive, together with a notebook and pen. If you need to find these things, then please pause this video now. Okay, welcome back and let's get started. Firstly, we need to work out where you are right now and maybe establish more firmly some of the things that could be holding you back. If you're feeling miserable, fed up, depressed, if you are totally lacking in confidence, then I need to confront a few personal issues to help you understand why you're feeling the way you do. Now, if you excuse the expression, this is not an exercise into the ... obvious. We know why you're fed up, because you've had one or two or more bad relationships, or a sad death of a soulmate, and maybe the future does not look quite so good for a whole range of other reasons. You may have felt this way for so long that you've come to accept it as part of your life, and that is what I want to change. I want you to stop for a moment and think about you. I need to get out your notebook and pen, and if life sucks right now, then I need you to write down why. I also need you to ask yourself why it is so difficult to move on. But before we do this, let me come up with a few suggestions that might apply. I attract abusive relationships, and I'm afraid to try again. When my partner died, I knew there could never be another for me. People do not find me attractive. Who would want to look at me? I've been lonely for so long, I do not know how to move on. I do not know how to meet other people, and I've heard bad things about the internet and dating agencies. I cannot move on because I have to think about the kids. I'm too busy to find someone. Now, almost certainly you will have your own version to write down. Please be as honest with yourself as you can, because you need a reminder as to why you are alone or not finding love and the reasons for it. So pause this video now and let's talk again when you're ready. Okay, welcome back. And how does that list look? You've written down your own personal reasons for being alone and why you are finding it difficult to move on. we now know the problem. Once it is out there, it's ready to be confronted and remedied. This is the stark reminder of where you are now. Ground zero, for want of a better expression. And that is going to change with some help from positive thinking. Now, many confuse love and positive thinking. They are, of course, very similar, but both have a distinct set of subtle rules. True love is unconditional and all-embracing, while positive thinking relies on an individual's power to influence the law of attraction to make changes. My apologies if this is beginning to sound a little complicated, but I need to make the distinction that while you can use positive thinking to attract love, it has no power to force another individual to love you. When relationships falter, many people mistakenly believe that they can embrace positive thinking to win that person back. The very fact that you have become more positive and ready to change might convince them that you are worth another try, but if love has really died, then it is unlikely to be repaired. Once you have overcome the shock of such a split, you can, of course, then use positive thinking to attract love again and leave behind the traumas of the past. But how do you go about that when there seems to be so many different obstacles? You already know what those obstacles are because they are written down on your sheet of paper. And you've also stated why you think it is going to be difficult to move on. However, you are now going to use positive thinking in a realistic way so that you can make those vital changes. You are going to write a specification, your own personal order to the universe. If it helps, then use the personal book which we provided when you first applied to join this course. Visualize and write down what you wish to achieve. Use as much detail as you can. Let your imagination run riot. See yourself being happy and meeting someone new. Look to the future and see the happiness grow. You are no longer alone but surrounded by new friends and people who like you for the person you really are. I also want you to write down the things that you have been holding you back. The hidden fears that have prevented you from moving forward should be prominent in your page. And then you must write underneath that these fears no longer have any place in your life. And from this moment on, you reject all of them. Love can and does create intense emotions. Thoughts can quickly turn to hate and self-loathing. And when this happens, your life becomes negative. In extreme cases, depression and hopelessness can kick in and a downward spiral begins. This is when you must really embrace positive thinking, because if this is you, then you must begin to love yourself first before you can move on. All those negative thoughts, such as guilt and going over what might have been, must be consigned to the past. You cannot change what's happened, and as already stated, you cannot force another to love you. So you must be ready to add even more to your order, but first you must also vow to get rid of any intense emotions. Hatred and bitterness will always ensure that positive thinking can never work, so you need to bring all these emotions to the surface. So let's pause this video once again while you vent your anger and all of the things that you have bottled up, and we will talk again when you're ready. Please pause now. Well, welcome back. And let's take a look at that list. I bet you feel so much better for getting that out of your system. Now please add all that anger to your specification to the universe. This also has no longer any place in your life, and you must write firmly underneath that once again you reject all of these emotions. We're going to add more to this specification, but let's make sure that you're on the right track. Are you going to sit there and wallow in your own self-pity? Or are you going to set about rebuilding your life by coming to terms with the past and by mapping out a new future for yourself? If all of this is very new at the moment, then of course you must give yourself a break. It's quite natural to grieve over what might have been and have been, and to miss someone who has been a real and special part of your life. It could be that you are feeling betrayed by the circumstances and possible lies that lead to the split, which is resulting in anger and thoughts of revenge. Enjoy the moment if it helps, but remember, you cannot move on until such thoughts are replaced and you have taken the next step to achieving this. Let's assume your breakup is now well in the past. Let's take a close look at you, because if you're now ready to use powerful positive thinking to rebuild your life, we have to take care of a few basics to begin with, like restoring your confidence and self-esteem. How are you looking at the moment? Have you let yourself go? What about the place you are living in? Is that how you want others to see it? When was the last time you did something for you? When was the last time you contacted old friends or bought yourself some new clothes? Are you getting the idea? If something, and we're talking about you here, looks good, then it's already half sold. Now, I don't mean to refer to you as a product you buy in a shop. If you're looking in the mirror and you don't like what you see, then you have to take these essential first steps. So let's add some more information onto your positive thinking specification. Once again, I want you to look at the whole package. It's you I'm talking about here. If you have let yourself go, then let's get some of this in writing. Spell out the things that you do not like about you. And at the end of each sentence, add that this is now all in the past. From here on in, the world is going to see a new you. Pause this video again if you wish while you add all of this extra information. Let's assume you've taken these steps and wow, you're looking good, and now you can begin to practice powerful positive thinking. You're getting noticed, maybe for the first time in years, which means you can begin to attract new people into your life and new opportunities. But we're not done yet, because now you need to combine positive thinking with action. These actions might include joining a club or other social organisations, taking up new hobbies, changing your job, maybe even checking out a dating website, whatever makes you feel good. By taking such actions, you'll be helping the universe deliver your new life. And of course, you can just sit back and feel sorry for yourself or do nothing at all. But that's not going to happen to you, is it? Doing nothing is no longer an option, and it is one of the reasons why you took this course. But I fully understand the need to avoid weirdos via dating agencies and the internet, so why not do something different and not so challenging to begin with? Taking action might be joining a night school, visiting shops in another town where you could be noticed, volunteering to help a local charity or community group. Little by little, your confidence and self-esteem will receive a boost. But let's get back to your specification. Sadly, there are many lonely people in the world, anxious to attract the right people into their lives. For many, it never seems to happen, no matter how hard they try to look for that Mr. or Mrs. Right. The more they attempt to think in a positive way, the more elusive that special person becomes. It may sound ironic, but believe it or not, positive thinking is working, but not in the way it was intended. By constantly focusing on the lack of someone in your life, the universe automatically assumes that's what you want. And as the law of attraction never fails, that's what you get. Nothing. As an analogy, consider what happened to all of us when we were teenagers, locked for the first time into that spectacular crush on the boy or girl of our dreams. The more we wanted that person, the further we drove them away. Well, that's how it seemed. Paradoxically, you will also remember that the people you fancied least were always there, the seemingly permanent stalkers who would never take no for an answer. That was positive thinking in action. You drove away the persons you wanted most because you focused on the fact that they were not part of your life. And the universe did not disappoint. You also constantly sent out a message that you did not fancy the others, and once again the universe misunderstood your intentions. Confusing or what? Well, not really, because the universe is really saying, let me do all the hard work for you. As you have put together your specification, you've told the universe what you really want, and at the same time you've decided to reject those things that you have held back. You've taken action by smartening up the way you look, and this has boosted your confidence, and you're also exploring opportunities where you can meet new people, and the universe is listening and liking what it sees. A little word of caution in terms of being realistic. Because positive thinking also requires common sense, it will probably be difficult, for example, for an 80-year-old man to attract a 20-year-old fashion icon into his life. Huge sums of money might help, but that's not what we're talking about here. Your subconscious has to accept that the person of your dreams is achievable. Put all these things into place and the universe will start working for you. It's given you a winning combination. The universe is now looking out for you, possibly for the first time in years. Your subconscious knows that the person of your dreams is not too far away. And just to help things along, you are making things happen.